We are all set, Captain. You are ready to go.
Yo, yo, what is good,
Sick,
everyone?
sick. All right, cool. Welcome.
Yo, yo, what is good?
Sick. All right, cool. So this is our feedback stream. Usually we do these things once a week, but it's been a little bit of time. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. I don't know where to start. It's been a while. I go by the name of Praxis. Most of y'all know who are part of Base Central who I am. Alongside of me, I have my co-hosts today. We got Hades and Wasted.
What's up, guys?
Yo,
nice to be here.
What's going on, Eddie?
Yeah,
How you
so
doing?
we're gonna get you guys some pretty cool feedback. Wasted, most of y'all know Wasted has a YouTube channel where he does production videos and tips and tricks and things of that nature. And then Hades here is just been producing for a very long time. He's one of the most talented people I know. You know, I would look forward to both of their feedback. We have a lot of submissions, so usually what we do is we normally go through the entire track, but with this many submissions being here, we're going to try and
I'm excited
get through as many as possible. So we're going to be doing like, your intro, build, and first drop, and possibly see what kind of elements might be in the second drop. But yeah, if you guys have anything you want to say?
Yeah. Before we get started, remember that feedback is completely subjective, and nothing. This is personal. Like my goal, at least being here, is to be honest with where I think it's sitting, where I think it needs to go. I'm not gonna tell you like if things are objectively bad, but I will tell you subjectively what I like, dislike, what I think can improve, and you take and run with it. Just like I think anyone's, feedback should be taken. If you like the direction where it's going, keep it. But that's what we're here for. We all have different ears. Like obviously, I'm very bro step, future bass heavy. HADEZ got that rhythm bro step heavy music, and I think we're all just bass music at this point. But so 3 different minds, and we're gonna have a good time. So I'm excited.
Hell yeah. So that's what it's all about, man. Everyone has different tastes, but everyone, can add a little bit of different kinds of feedback.
Everyone on their
like
other
what you're saying
accounts over
is,
here.
Feedback can be taken with a grain of salt. We're all here. Everyone's got different tips and tricks.
Plain.
Have different
What is
ear
that,
for different
dude?
things. So,
I miss you, man.
so
Congrats.
with that being said, let's go ahead and get this thing
coming
kicked
out
off,
soon?
everyone. HADEZ, you got anything you want to say?
I'm excited to hear these tracks. It's been a while that I've been on here, so on the streams. So it's it's fun to be back, and I'm excited to hear. Because like I said earlier, everyone has been getting. Camera keeps doing. Like I said earlier, everyone has been getting really good at producing. So I'm really excited to hear what they submitted.
Hell yeah. All right, let's get right into it. I know it's been a while, everyone, so welcome back. Let's go ahead and get this thing started off. We got Lazarus.
Let me know what the volume is. I
and
think everything's
Valerian,
pretty balanced, but
Mortal
if it's
Sins.
not, just let me know, guys. Welcome in, social. Yeah, let me know if anything sounds wrong volume-wise. That's like a fire.
I want to lift it a little bit, see if it switches. Sick. Let's get us kicked off with the
Dude, that's fire.
first feedback.
That's fire.
It's fire. Stompy has a rhythm. I like that a lot. I can go first. Yeah. So, is it 1 through 5? Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fire. The flow is good. Rhythm is good. Like the stompiness is there, which I like a lot. I think the only thing, this is like really minor feedback because there's not a lot to say because it's really good. Mix down is, mix down's good, in my opinion. And then idea is actually really solid. It fits really well with the theme also, with the metal theme and all that. So, the only thing I would do, bro, is like put some higher hats.
Can you guys
Because
hear me
I'm doing
sipping,
this
by
thing
the way?
recently where I just
If I can,
boost
I
the
can
hi
mute
hats a lot and it
trick.
just gives the flow just a better like it just gives it more cohesiveness, if that makes sense. So I think I would probably just turn up the hi-hats. Maybe that's like one piece of feedback, but I think that's it, honestly, because there's really nothing else. Waveform looks really good too. So I'm gonna give this a 4.8.
Solid.
Yeah, 4.8.
Solid. I
And
kind
then
of
if
agree.
I'm cutting off, oh sorry, if I'm cutting off, because my mic sometimes. Just let me
Oh,
know.
no, you sound good.
It sounds good on mine.
Yeah, you
Sure.
sound good. I thought it was super cool. I thought the flow was dope. And it was very cohesive with the drop. I mean, like the drop was very cohesive with like the intros with like the metal theme that I had going on, like you were saying. I don't really have any quarrels with it. I thought it was mixed down pretty nicely. But yeah, I don't really have any issues with it. Yeah, no feedback on my part, honestly. I'd give this one a 4.8.
Okay. I know Lazarus and Valorian, not personally, but I know their work. So I'm going to go in a little on what I think just could be tidied up a little bit. I think the B section, so let me just say, A section is like first 4 bars usually, B section falling 4 bars, A2, B2 for a full drop. That's how I refer to things. But like your B section, you add like this probably triplet or eighth note kind of gun on top of it to add another flow. But I think you guys can make it like a little more staccato-y to add like more flow, because it kind of like blends a little bit with your main. It just sounds like kind of a wall of noise. It has movement, but I think since you have so much room with your main gun taking up that space, like you don't need it to tail as long on that additional. That's really about it. The drop, as far as mixdown goes, it's good. The sub doing that boom boom sounds really good on the emphasis of the guns. Drop 2, I said that I think you should change like the gun, maybe pitch it, maybe use a different sample. Like the flow's fine, everything's fine about that, but it just sounds like I'm listening to drop 1 again, in my opinion. Like it doesn't feel like too big of a change, and that could be totally subjective. And lastly, that like really screechy sustain you have in the drops, I think you can either like, do a little bit of like masking or side chaining your main bass to it, just to let it come through the mix like 15% more. Like volume wise, it's probably fine, but if you just masked a little bit of the frequencies, I think it would really pop a lot more and it'd have a little more of effect. So I know that's really picky, but I know how good you guys are as artists. So and as well, I think this is a banger track. I'd give it like a 4.85. I really enjoyed it. Intro is really good. I don't have any feedback on that as well.
Solid, good shit, good stuff, fellas. Well, good thing for fire track for kicking off our stream back. So we're gonna go and get moving to the next one.
Thank you for
Up
submitting,
next, we got
Lazarus and
Ignistic. Get back. Hell yeah.
Ignistic. Complaint. Saying anything, dude. Say some bro stuff. Come on.
Whoa.
Can you run drop 2?
Run drop 2.
For real, some of the Cyclops.
Okay, I'm good.
Fire. You can go ahead.
Okay. Rhythm is not my forte at all. However, I will start out with the positives that I did here. The drop sounds very good. The rhythm basses, I don't really like rhythm basses that much, but that sounds really cool. It's good. It's good. The flow is rhythm has kind of it just works. Everything in the drop I really liked. There's a couple things I didn't care for. The intro drums just kind of, I don't know, they sound dated, and maybe they're just turned down or something. And this also kind of ties into my next thing, which is like the intro melody and all that. Like the intro in general just didn't seem like it was cohesive with the drop. Like I don't know, it just sounded like something super basic. But I just feel like it could have more of a track identity, you know, like the ARP was cool, but especially in the drop, but I don't know. I think you could just do more with the intro, is guess what I'm saying. But the drop sounds great, which is probably the most important part. I just think it's important to get the listener to that point. So.
No, I agree. And when it comes to rhythm, like, I think everything sounded like decently fine. I feel like you can come with a thicker sub, maybe thicker and slightly bit distorted of a sub, just kind of something like Samplifier would do, where it's just like kind of more in your face, like Menticide. Just that I think would kind of take care of a little bit of your frequency range, because like the chugs sound fine. I just feel like they're like missing something, and that being that heavy element that I think that sub could be really present with. Other than that, the intro again, like Waste was saying, did sound extremely like, you know, like basic in a sense. Like you could do more there. Just give it something a little more interesting. It sounds very like older rhythm, like if you will, like, you know, just a simple do melody with kick, snare, and then you go into your you know your pattern with the rhythm, which isn't bad. It's just I feel like that can just be kind of lost, like what Wasted's saying, in the sea full of rhythm tracks. You know, you want something to stand out. But other than that, super sick idea. I'm gonna give this one a 4.2.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't give
Super
a
sick
rating.
idea.
I didn't give a rating.
Oh, sure, go ahead, right?
I think drop is like a 4.5 for me. I think intro is like a 3. So wherever that is, but I split them up.
Yeah, like a 4.2. Yeah,
Like a 3-4, 4-3.
3,
No,
4, 4, 3.
but no, yeah, this idea is fire. You know, it's rhythm, so like I didn't really expect nothing like freaking chugs or like, you know, crazy like heavy stuff. But I like the flow a lot actually, and I like the type of rhythm bases like Wasted was saying that you use. They're different because there's some. I mean, I love all types of rhythm bases, but there's some that pop out to me, and these popped out to me. So like, what I was gonna say for feedback was that little pluck you have in the drop. I think you should use that more, either in the intro, like the little. It sounds like a little spooky pluck, I think. Or you could even layer that, like it comes in the middle of the drop, and I thought you were gonna leave it on for like for it to overlap those bases on the part B. I thought that was gonna keep on going, you know, but it cut off, and I wanted more of it. So I think you should do that.
I like that idea.
Yeah, so just like, you know, put the ARPs behind the bases. That would be a cool idea. And then, damn, there was one more thing I was gonna say after that. Oh yeah, and then on your second part of the drop, I think is the second drop. You know, rhythm is repetitive, you know, at a certain point, but I think, you know, something that will make, like Praxis said, something that will make this pop out is maybe if you pitch up those basses, because there's some rhythm producers that they do that a lot, like Hole and like Shivers, and you know, all of them, they pitch a lot of their rhythm basses up and down, and it just gives it such a cool effect. So maybe just group your rhythm bass with your sub, group it, and then on your group add any type of pitch shifter, anything, and then just mess around with that, bro. Just like mess around with the automations, like find something that's really cool. Sometimes it works if it's not even in key, you know, sometimes it can work still. So just mess around with it and see what sounds cool. But yeah, honestly, this is I'm gonna give this a 4.5, but this can be like a really sick rhythm track if you just make those adjustments. Oh shit, I got the voice crack. I've been talking all day at work, bro. And then I got the coke though. And no, but yeah, I give this a 4.5. But if you do those adjustments, bro, this could be easily a 5.0 rhythm track. Honestly, my opinion. And drums were good too. Like I could tell by the waveform too. Like you clipped everything perfect, not like perfectly like leveled. So like I like that too, because I've been trying to get my waveforms like that also to look like that. You know how you see how everything's just clipped. You know, and I've been trying to do that, but for some reason, bro, my intros look small. Anyways, that's like from my personal feedback. But yeah, I give it a 4.5.
Sick.
This is fire.
I'll move on to the next here. We got
Y'all,
Mr.
I'm
Drew
using
Do
literally
Crimson
a like,
Lights.
whiteboard to fucking
Always a fan of
give
his
feedback,
artwork.
just so
It's super
everyone's
cool.
aware. I'll be writing down.
That's sick.
I already know this shit's about to be amazing. You in here, Drew? Hell yeah.
Hey, what's up, Andrew? I know it looks frozen, but I heard like the wavelength. That's just Discord sometimes. Is that it? Okay.
Is that it? I guess so.
Yeah. All right, Praxis. I think you can lead this time.
All right, cool. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Drew's work. He's always coming out with like some really fresh stuff. Especially because not a lot of mid-tempo producers out there, in my opinion. Who
I don't think it's important
are like
at all.
really doing it well, like production-wise, personally. Then again, I'm not really too well versed in a lot of mid-tempo producers, but I want to pinpoint some of the things I liked about it. Like I like the flow. I like the like crunch that you had going on with your basses. Like it got a little bit of an ear tickle to it, which was really cool. I feel like the B section to your drop, like you had your first like 4 to 8 bars, and that switch up was really nice. I want to see it finished. Other than that, I feel like some of the elements
Heck
can be
yeah,
a little
man.
brighter, just a slight bit brighter. Whether it be like pushing them in the mix a little bit more, or just checking your EQing, making sure they're not being drowned out, or whatever it may be. But other than that, super sick idea. I'd give this one a 4.7.
Can you play me the second half of the first drop real quick? Just like 4 bars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like what he does with the panning too.
Yeah, the painting's really good. I have, for things I liked, I said bass flow W, so I really like just the feel, the drop, the flow of it. It's really good. The basses go, the switch, like he said. I like that a lot. So a couple of the feedback points is I think there needs to be more body on that clap. It just seems really thin. I'm not too versed in mid-tempo, but it kind of stuck out to me, so maybe that's why. It just seems like it could be like the same thickness as your kick, in my opinion. I have that the second time I listened back to it, I really didn't hear too much high end with like hats or rides or anything. I don't know the flow of those, but yeah, something just to fill in that high end a little more would be nice for me, and I think the listener. And then I had, maybe it's just how it came through on Discord, but your first impact in the intro when you kind of bring it in, sounds like distorted to me. It sounded like it was clipping a little bit. So maybe just double check that. Maybe it's just how it came through on Discord. And then I have for break 2, the synth you added, like the counter melody. It just needs to sound a little fuller, or maybe just like slightly play or post process the sound just so it sounds like not as thin overall. It doesn't have to be up front or anything. I just want a little more from that sound individually. And yeah, that's what I got. Overall, I think this is a really good track. I think the writing of it, the songwriting itself, the drop's very good. I'll give it like a 4.8.
Good shit. Mr. Hades?
Yeah, this is a really sick idea.
Diamond Step. What's
yeah,
good?
Voodoo is like
Yeah.
really good at like melodic
Everyone-
stuff. Melodic like
Everyone hype up Andrew.
example.
This
But
is
anyways,
good. This is
yeah,
a good
it's
ass
super sick
track.
what you did with the on the drop where you added like those melodic elements in the back over the mid-tempoed basses. I think if you add like a choir following the same notes, following those plucks or pads you had, yeah, like a choir following the same notes, it'd be really sick over the drop. And then I was gonna say I think you should add more like perks to your drum loops. I mean not drum loops, to your drums in general. Like more like perks or like shakers or something like that. More like loud cymbals. I think it can give it a better flow. I think I don't know, like Kurt, like Wasted said, it might have been Discord, but I think the hats weren't pushing through for me. But it might have been Discord, but I'm not sure about that. Just double check it. And then there was one more thing. I think the vocal when it comes in,
What's
that
up,
the little
Kiru?
vocal loop you have on the second part,
Mr. Anime.
I think it comes in a little
rhythm.
too loud.
Hente rhythm.
So I think
Entire?
maybe like adding some reverb on it and lowering it down in volume can give it like the reverb can help it give it more space. And then just when you give it more space, it might get a little bit more louder. So just turn the volume down. So yeah, just add a little reverb to the vocal you have there. But I'm gonna give this a 4.0. But the idea is just the idea is there. It's fire.
I think you could parallel the reverb like dry wet, and you don't even have to like do like a full mix on your actual dry vocal.
All right, up next we got Merciless Rage Torque D150 finish.
Hell yeah, Diamond Step. Let's go. Andrew, you have to send me after you get the second part worked on. Merciless Rage, are you here?
Cool. Personally, I feel like the mix is a slight it needs a slight bit of work, for sure. I don't know if it's like you have some low end frequencies fighting, or maybe even like your sub with like the frequencies it's sitting in could be fighting in some spaces with your chugs. So I would just check all that, just kind of clean up everything. Other than that, the flow in some parts sounded a little messy, but in some parts it sounded really cool. Like when it first dropped, it sounded a little messy, but then it kind of started to make sense more as the drop went on around this part. And then in the kind of like second drop that you had going on, I would check your kind of like structure and timing on the drop and just make sure, you're going like 18, I mean not 18, like 8 bars or 16 bars or 32 or whatever it may be. It sounds like it could be off timing just slightly. And then the kick sounded a little too compressed in my opinion. But other than that, that could be a personal preference when it comes to kicks. I would just use a little like more cleaned up kick, maybe a shorter tail or just something not as compressed. But overall, with the idea, like it's pretty unique, and I can see where the idea is going to go. And I would just visit the flow a bit and just clean it up, so it doesn't sound like there's too much going on. But like the elements you had, and like if you were to layer them properly and just get the mix down right, it could sound really fucking cool. Just because like some of the sounds you're using are really sick. But overall, I'm gonna give this one a solid like I'll give it a 4.1.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll just go. I can go. Yeah, so I have a couple things for this one. In the beginning, the transitions in my opinion could be a little better, like maybe I stress this enough, like transition symbols, stuff like that, little things like that, little sweepers and stuff can do a lot and can add more cohesive to the actual like structure of the song. But like no, that's not the point. The point is like there's a gritty bass in the beginning, and then your build up starts. I think something that could really help to the ear, because right now everything sounds a little muffled because there's a lot of frequencies fighting each other. So if you sidechain that gritty bass to your build kick, just gives it that pumping effect, that could clean up the mix a little bit. So that's number one. And then I think number two, I think definitely change your snare on the drop to something else. I think it was a little too it just didn't fit the drop that you had. Sorry, it didn't fit the drop that you had. So I would change the snare. And then again, like Praxis said, the levels of your drop and the basses and everything, it was like this. It wasn't like leveled. So take the time to listen to each layer individually, and then make sure nothing is really loud. Just make sure you level things. And then make sure if you mix a sound, make sure you listen to it in context with everything, because that will help you level things even easier than actually doing it individually. Because it's a little harder if you choose one sound and you try to mix it, instead of you choosing one sound and then mixing it while listening to everything. Overall, it's just way easier because it helps you level things out easier, in my opinion. So that's a cool tip to level out your mixes better.
That's good, dude.
And then was there anything else? I'm trying to think. I think that was it. I'm gonna give it a 3, because I think it needs a lot of work, but the idea is there. And the sounds are there. The basses. It just needs to be mixed well. The sub sounded good to me, actually. There was some parts of the drop. Not everything was bad. Like, it wasn't bad in general, but it needs work. Not everything needs work. There was just some parts that were a little rough, but then there was some parts that were really good. Like there was this part where you had some gunshots going on. That sounded really cool to me. So I don't have anything on that. It was more like how the song started. Everything was just came in your face. Oh my god, it sounded so bad. Everything.
Clip it.
Clip it. Quote it on the Bass Central. No, for real, quote that shit.
Wait a minute.
Nah, everything it's just in your face. You get me? So that's crazy, bro. So yeah, just level things out, man. And I think this can be a really cool idea.
Oh my god.
I know Saint's gonna be the first one to freaking
nah.
that down.
Goodbye.
No, anyways.
Goodbye, Hades. No, you're
Goodbye,
done.
I'm canceled.
You're
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's my feedback, bro. This is actually really sick. Honestly, just tweak those things, and then it could be a really sick idea. I'm gonna give it a 3 though, but it needs work. But it's really sick though. Watch this. What the fuck?
I need a burp. 1 second.
Bro, I can't believe I said that. No way.
No, I mean it's just normal you, honestly.
I didn't. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, so I first of all love the style. Bro Step, my beloved. Big fan. So first of all, how you resampled the Joe Rogan, that was really cool. I know where that vocal comes from. It sounded really cool. Very unique.
There you go.
I agree with Hades. I don't like the snare and the drop, to be honest. I just think it should be something else. Sounds very boomy. I don't know. It just needs more punch, a little more crisp. Just choose a different sample. Listen to other, bro step. Not even volume shaper. Just like a different snare, in my opinion. As far as bass flows go, I think they're really good. I think that's drop 2 was really cool. You changed it up. It sounded very different from drop 1. So that's awesome. And here's where I'm going to get into a little bit of the nitty gritty. I'm going to try to cover it as fast as I can, but try to be precise. Your main basses, I kind of go in with Hades here that there's different volumes, maybe not dynamically, but overall how you feel it as a listener. And how I suggest this is just clip everything. If you're an Ableton or whoever, just use your clipper, G clip, saturator, soft clip on. Just keep your basses pretty much at 0. I mix hot, so that's how I do it. And make sure anything that is not your sub is cut properly. Next, how you're layering your sustain. How I like to do it is I like my chugs to be pretty wide, almost to the point of phasing. If you see my span videos, I have so many resources on there on like how to see your width and get it right. I think moving that a little more mono, and then maybe slightly turning up your sustain would really help with the just overall stereo with your track. I think you could layer your bass. You have a good tone like your chugs, with a little bit of like noise. So you can put, if you're using Serum, just like pink noise or white noise, make your LFO curve and add a little distortion, a little filtering, and that will give you like your traditional like layering of a true bro step bass. It makes it sound wide, it makes it sound noisy, but you still have like your tonality. So I think you could do that. And then I think the last 8 bars of your second drop, you have like the boom, 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 boom. That up bass, I think it'd just be a little bit better. This is subjective as well. Like you can maybe just keep post-processing it, maybe add a layer to add just something. It just seems like it needs something. I don't know exactly what it is. It just wasn't really hitting for me. I like the flow, by the way. And I think your sub can really, I couldn't tell since I listened, but if your sub kind of goes like boom, 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 boom to really emphasize what you're doing, I think that adds a lot of detail that listeners will really pick up. And then lastly, I thought the intro was very bare. Once again, no matter how fire your drop is, if the listener doesn't get there, it doesn't matter. I think it just needs to have an identity. Listen to all your favorite bro step tracks and just try to find something that works, because the build works for me, plus what Hades said about your build, but like the build elements were really good. Second build was really good as well. So I think you just need to get a better identity at the beginning. You can even use other Joe Rogan clips and all that. You can even have like the impacts. What was that?
Back up. You froze.
I froze. Where'd I freeze at? Where was I? Am I frozen? Chat? Is this good? Are we good? Yo, type in the chat if we're good. Can you guys hear me? Okay, our stream's good? Yeah? Okay. Cool. I guess something's wrong with Discord. Because everyone's
froze for like a good 20 seconds. I think it's frozen again.
Okay.
Oh, right.
I think I'm back. No? Alright, well I'll just Yo,
Okay, there you go. Now you're back.
I don't know.
It's... Turn your camera on and off.
One second. Sorry, guys.
Or off and on, I mean.
Oh, technical difficulties. Who doesn't love it? Anyways, how's everyone's day?
Can you turn it back on?
Joking.
Okay. Yeah, he's
Jack's.
frozen. Are you able to?
Okay,
speak
are we back now? We back? We good? We good?
You're able to speak. I don't know if your camera's back though.
It says my camera's back.
Oh yeah, I see you
Okay.
on the stream. I just okay. You're good.
Cool. So I'm not sure where I left off, but yeah. Anyways, give your intro a true identity. You could do like the impact swell, add Joe Rogan, other bites in there. Really just kind of set the tone of what we're gonna go to. But overall, I really liked it. I think there's a lot of potential. I think the idea of the track is like a 4.8 for me, and I think right now I'm sitting probably like a 4 where the mix is. But it's something that has a lot of potential.
Sick. All right, guys, let's go ahead and move on to the next track. Up next, we got CJ. How do you say this? CJ? Babadook.
I think it's CJ. It's one of the homies
Yeah.
from the Discord. CJ, you here?
Said it was one of the homies.
Dude, cool weather. I wish we were having cool weather. LA's been like 105 the last like 5 days. Is the waitlist queue for this long? Yeah. You can see the top there. We have a fudge ton of submissions. So it is a little long. Ooh. Is it me? Yeah, what do you say about the screen practice?
Yeah, sick idea.
Yo, real
go
quick,
ahead.
hey, wasted.
Yeah, go ahead.
On your YouTube, it's still stuck on Merciless Rage's. Like when it was on his, it hasn't updated to like most recent, like the one that we just listened to.
I'm looking at it live right now. It's showing CJ.
Is it really?
Refresh real quick.
Oh, that
Refresh.
shit
Double check. Stream's good. Yeah. Has everyone seen CJ the red?
Oh, maybe
It's
my shit's
good.
lagging.
Yeah, everyone's saying it's
you know
good.
what? It is. My shit's just lagging like crazy. All right, cool.
All
Never
right,
mind.
thank you guys.
Also,
I appreciate it.
I'm
Can you
yeah,
save
this is a
this so
sick
I can
idea.
watch it tomorrow?
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of threw me off. Like,
Empiric,
I
I'll
didn't
keep it
know.
uploaded
I
for
knew
a
it was
couple
the
weeks
build up at
so anyone
first,
can see it.
but like I think the bar structure was off. I don't. It might have been just me, but I don't know if you guys heard it. But yeah, like the bar structure was off. And what I mean by the bar structure is like your build up structure. It caught me off guard. Because I was listening to it and then the drop came in a little too early. I think that's what it was. And so yeah, that was one thing. So maybe check your structure. Make sure you have like 8 bars,
Yeah, I
8 bars,
agree, Andrew.
or 4 bars, whatever. Make
I
sure
don't know
you're
if
on
it's
structure
necessarily
basically.
Snare. I think it just needs
Because
to
sometimes it's
come
easy
up
to get off
/
structure and
sidechain
then it just
issues.
throws off everything else. So just make sure everything is like in structure. That was one thing. And then the second thing, to me, again, it could have been Discord, but I think your sidechain was a little too thin. So maybe making your sidechain a little bit more aggressive so your drums can push in more. Your
He's
basses sounded
listening to
really
me.
sick though. It's like the width and everything. They sounded really sick, but everything sounded a little muffled because the sidechain was a little too weak. If you make the sidechain a little more harsher, things will punch through more, because there will be more space for everything to punch through. So just make your sidechain bigger, and that's gonna help out your drop more. But your basses were honestly sick. I like the width of them, like I said.
Width
And
was
then,
good. Width was
was
good.
there anything else I was gonna say? I like the tension you had, and the tension and the cover art, like everything fits together. But just fixing those little things, and I think this could be a banger. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Okay, I'll go second. I like the intro. That's a good vibe. Builds a scene. Something about the build felt weird. I don't know if it was the timing, if it was slightly off grid. The kicks felt weird at first. I think the length of it is fine. I think it was a 6-bar build with like a 2-bar pre-drop. The pre-drop vocal though, I don't know what it said. I don't know what it was. I don't know. So that was my first note. I don't know. Tying along with HADEZ, I agree. Your sidechain seems very thin. To maybe, I don't know. As soon as we got out of the drop, your kick punched instantly more. So up your sidechain, which could go to my third point, which is your snare needs to come up in volume. It seems like your kick is very loud and your snare is very far pushed back. And your cymbals are not being sidechained on your kick or snare, which is fine if you want to go that route, but just delay them or add like a little fade in on where your transient is for your kick. So you don't have to do like a full sidechain, but just let your kick and snare so it's not getting distorted in the high end super hard. The bass flow is good. Drop 2 variation was good. I think overall your basses might be a little too distorted. That's totally up to you though. But they sound very distorted to me altogether. Like your bass group could be the sound, could be you pushing them all together. But that's some more subjective. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I'd give it a 4.0 for sure.
Cool.
Calico,
I kind of
let
just
me
agree more
fix that
so
real
on what they
quick.
were talking about with the drums. With the side chaining, it didn't sound like it was aggressive enough. Like you can give more space in your side chain so that way the kick comes through more as well as your snare. That could solve your problem with the snare sounding so far back, but even so, I think you might want to work on the snare, pushing it more into the mix,
I'll be
and just finding a
right
good snare
back.
to use.
Is it possible?
Other than
to
that,
download
I
a
like
skip
the
queue?
dark kind of like
Let me
ominous
ask.
vibe that it gave, kind of like a very dark.
After
like,
he's
it
done
fits
giving
the theme
feedback, I'll
of the
ask.
track name as well as the artwork, which is cool. And some of the flows were really cool. But yeah, just for me, the main gripe was your drums. So that's pretty much it. Overall, I'm gonna give it a 4.1.
Praxis, is it possible to dono to skip the queue?
We don't really have like a donation thing. Yeah, we really don't have like a donation thing like set in place or anything like that, really.
I'm about to pay fast, dude. I grab that shit
Yeah, I
all the
wouldn't know
time at
how
Disney.
what we can do to do
It's okay.
that.
Don't
honestly,
worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Low key. I get
next
it.
we got
I've done it
Emperor.
before for producers.
I don't fucking know it.
So yeah, I guess not for this. When I do my solo ones, I do offer that just to like my Venmo for a few dollars. But I guess for the group, we're just gonna keep it. Also, I'll fix that Discord link as soon as we get to this. I'm gonna pull out my laptop after so I can multitask.
was crazy.
Yeah, that was fucking tight.
So,
Yeah, the feedback that I would have is something that just really stuck out to me in the mix was your fills had a lot of sub bass in it that kind of like I like a lot of sub, like I like a really thick, heavy sub, so the
I got
fills
the
were really nice to me.
goosies.
During the drop though, I understand that a lot of tear out, kind of doesn't really like I don't really know how to describe it. Like it's extremely heavy and in your face, but like I feel like sometimes it's really lacking like a sub presence. Um and I don't know. Like everything sounded really nice to me. It's just like when you hear the fill comes in, it's just like super thick and sub while then you have the drop continue and it just doesn't match that same like thickness with the sub frequency. Everything else sounded really fucking good though, in my opinion. Like the flow, the tension, the rise, like the rising and falling of like like your sweeps you're using and stuff. Everything was really fucking cool. Just that one thing stood out to me was just that sub bass in your fills was just so fat and thick, and then it would go back into the drop where it wasn't matching that thickness. But overall, this is super sick. I'm gonna give this one a 4.7.
Okay. First of all, this is a super sick track. Empiric. I really don't have much, honestly. It's honestly kind of what you're touching on. I said the downbeat bass was way grittier / louder than the rest of the drop. So I think you just gotta even it out one way or another. Go one route or the other. I think you're fine, but just keep it roughly the same level because all those felt like really big and then it just kind of felt like we kind of went down in hype for the rest of the flow. Also, was it just me or was that a BPM switch? Did it get slower in the second drop? Yeah, okay. That shit was tight.
Super sick.
I didn't even see that coming either. I was like, BPM switch pog. Like, that shit was tight. That second drop was dope. So, that's all I really have. I think the intro is really cool. I think the identity's there. I think you have a very cohesive track, and I think I don't even fucking know if a whip is an understatement. I think you're onto something really good here. I would give it like a 4.9.
Yeah, good shit.
Also, I'm gonna step away just a second. I should be back by the time next track starts. Just FYI for the group. I'm gonna grab the laptop real quick so I can get the
yeah,
Discord
super
fixed for
fire
you guys.
track, bro. Like Empiric, like you're fucking cracked, bro. No, but yeah, I think one thing that stuck out to me was, and this could be subjective self-preference, was your kick. I think it was too knocky. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was too not thumpy. I wouldn't say thumpy. It was just like, how trap kicks, like they have that knock to them sometimes. It kind of had that going on, and I kind of didn't think it kind of fit with your drop. I think a more like heavy dubstep kick fits for this drop. I know you're a Terrell producer. I believe he makes Terrell most of the time, but I know you're a Terrell producer, and then Terrell they usually have like kicks like that are really like knocky. I don't know if that's the perfect word to describe, but I know you guys know what I mean by knocky. So I think if you change it to something more heavier, not even punchier, like something heavy, like there's some ivory kicks on his sample packs that are really heavy. I think that could fit well with this drop. Because I think this drop is a mixture of like tear out and just like sustains and a bunch of stuff going on. Like so I think that type of kick can fit well. Everything else is literally on point. I agree with Praxis about the fills, but that's something you could just level out, easily. And with your experience, I'm sure you can just do that, like in the next session that you have with this track. But honestly, I think that's it. Just switch the kick up, in my opinion. And I think, that's all I have. I'm gonna give this a 4.9. Super sick.
Heck yeah. All right. Go ahead and get moving to the next. We're gonna wait just a minute for Mr. Wasted to get
I'm
back.
good.
Oh, you're here? All right, sick. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. This is Ether by Anomaly.
Very interesting. This is sick.
I like that.
Oh,
Dude, this track has I can go first. This track has so many sick elements, bro, but I think like the execution of them, you know, could improve a little bit. And if that improves, honestly, it can be like super sick. Um, one thing I was gonna go for first was fuck, bro. I hope I
Discord
can
is updating
remember.
real quick.
I'm just really tired. That's why like my memory's just off right now.
Super wide and stereo. It depends as long as it's not super phasing.
Okay, so I was gonna say that the intro it sounds like two separate, in my opinion. You know, super subjective. Sounds like two separate tracks. Intro sounded totally different than the actual drop, but you know that's not really a big deal. You could always move things around and stuff. So for the drop, full feedback on the drop. The amount, like, bro, I'm not sure if you added OTT to your Reese's or the gritty bass that you have, but like whatever you did to the bass that you have, the processing, it's really on point because like the grittiness of it is not too harsh. It's just like very leveled, in my opinion. So I think that you executed really well.
Add a lot of like shimmer.
Your snare
and
definitely.
fullness film.
You could either add some reverb to your snare or add another
too wide
layer.
and phasing.
And what I mean by
like
layer is
mono.
like if when you add this layer to your snare, make sure it's not a full snare. You know, you want to like cut some frequencies off of it when you're adding another snare on top of another snare. So you can either add reverb to the current snare that you have, just because it sounds too dry in the mix. So if you add some reverb, it just gives stuff more space, and then it just sounds better. Same with the hats, your cymbals, they're not popping out too much. So if you add cymbals, or if you just turn up the volume of the ones that you have right now, it can give a really sick rhythm to your drop. And then lastly, you have this vocal going on. Again, just add some reverb to it because like the idea is super sick, but there's just lack of space in it. So if you add the reverb to these things, to the cymbals, to the snare, to the vocal, it's just gonna add that space that's missing. So that's the important things that I would change. I need some fucking water. That's the important things I would change in this track. The idea is super sick, bro, honestly. But yeah, just keep moving forward with this. I think if you do those adjustments, it can be a really sick idea. And then honestly, like this is in the nicest way possible. Like just scrap the intro and just make something really melodic that goes with this drop. But I mean, sorry, don't scrap the intro. Move the intro to another project. Don't scrap it. Just move the intro to another project and then rebuild the intro on this one. I didn't mean to say scrap it. I meant like just move it and then use that for something else. And then yeah, just rebuild this intro. But yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4.5 because I liked the melodic part of it. And then like I said, the bass was processed really good in my opinion, so I'm gonna give it 4.5.
Okay. I think the drop is a banger. I think it sounds really good. I like the snare personally. I think the one like because I think it's like a 32 bar drop. The second 16 bar, when you add in that medical melodic arp, right? I think you could just make it sound fuller. Add layering to it, post-process it a little more, just make it sound a little more not like a 2018-16 ARP or synth, which isn't a jab at all. It's just, I just think it could be a little bit fuller because the first half, those Reese and that flow is so good. I really don't listen to a lot of this music, but this was a vibe. I think the intro, I do somewhat agree with HADEZ that the intro sounds completely different than the drop. The drop just, I was not expecting, it sounded so crisp, sounded so good. But the intro is also kind of like experimental-ish. I don't think you need to write a new drop. So this is, I guess, where I differ from HADEZ. I think our new intro, I think it's fine. I think it just needs to be like refreshing to like the drop standard as far as like sounds and all that. I'm cool with the weirdness. The drop comes out of nowhere. I'm cool with that as well. I like all that. I just think it could sound a little bit better. But as far as the storytelling goes, the drop and everything, it's pretty good. I would give this like a 4.8.
Cool.
Yeah, storytelling is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Peyton,
I mean,
what's
I agree
good?
kind of what they're both kind of saying.
Um,
Like I feel like
yeah, totally
the
subjective
vocal
card. I
elements
liked
and
how it
stuff could have used
was,
a little bit more work. Like
but
it sounded just a little dry.
it could be more distorted.
Same with like the
Nothing
snare.
wrong
It could
with
have
that.
been, you can add a little bit of reverb to fill it up. But my
Mark,
biggest thing that like stood
what is
out to me
good?
was that the drop came sudden. Like
Mark.
the
Oh, I'm
drop
sorry.
felt like it came very sudden. Like there was no rise of tension
Mart.
or build of
Martif?
energy. Kind of like what I would do is, just
Hopefully I
kind of
got
work
that
on a
right.
build
Sorry
up
if I
and
didn't.
tease some of those drop synth elements in it. Um, Other than that, like everything sounded pretty cool. I had a nice little flow vibe. I liked how you did a lot of like the panning elements and stuff to kind of create a nice feel and flow to keep things interesting. And then when you ended the drop, it had like this crazy,
I don't know
like
what that means.
zappy kind of like
Try to
ping
stay English only if
ponging
we
noise,
can
which
as
is
well.
really cool. So I really like that. So, I see what you're
Oh,
doing.
dude, I
You're very
love Jack
talented
Hyde.
at
I don't
like
listen to him
coming up with
enough,
like
honestly.
creative ideas with your sounds, which is really nice, and you can use that to your advantage. I would just work on the structure a bit, just like build some tension, build a little bit of energy to get that people hyped, to get that dance flow going. But overall, it's just a cool idea. I think this one is like a good 4.5 for me. All right, go to the next one here. Rage, backbone rage flip. Cool ass artwork.
I'm sorry if I'm over talking him, Drew.
What is this? It's cool.
Yeah, this shit's fire.
Oh yes.
Yo, Argentina, let's go, dude. Fuck 'em.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Ayo.
That fucked.
Okay.
Send me that shit. Rage.
I need to hear more. I need to hear more rage. What the heck?
Yo.
Like I think the only
Dude.
like if I'm gonna nitpick, really, I would just check kind of like the like your what's it called, the bases themselves could have been like maybe just like a slight, like I don't want to call it dry, but like I feel like they were like kind of like short, if you will. I don't know. I can't. It's like really nitpicking at that point. Like there's nothing really I can really touch on. I thought it was really sick. Like the way the vocal was going with the flow, and it sounded like a rap like beat, but it was also like kind of rhythm me in a way. It was unique. It was really cool. But yeah, nitpicking. If I'm really nitpicking, it's just more so like the mix down, just trying to like checking the levels of like the low end, mid low end, and then just like possibly checking the basses and stuff. But that's just really nitpicking it. Other than that, it's really good. I'm giving this one a 4.8.
This one's yeah. This is fire, bro. Like, sorry, I can't see your camera waist, so I'm not sure if you're about to talk. But
Oh, no, it's cool. It's cool. Go right ahead.
Oh, sorry, bro. I'm looking at the chat. Jokes are just going crazy. Um, okay, so yeah, bro. Bro. I fucking love this. I'm not even kidding. And I may be overhyped. I mean, I'm not overhyping it. It's just that the idea is really sick because you got me on the second part. I thought it was gonna be a freaking sustain going out throughout the freaking drop, but like it's literally just like a wide ass sustain, like coming at you and then stepping away and then coming at you again. So, bro, that's fucking fire. Like I like that a lot. I think one thing that could use work would be the vocal you're using is so fire. Like I love it, but just process it more. You know, like maybe distort it a tiny bit more, add some OTT, add some saturation, maybe even pitch it down to make it deeper, or add a second layer that's pitched down to give it more like a wider, deeper sound that's layered on top of
Discord
that
is still
original
loading, by the
vocal, if
way.
that makes sense. It's kind of like two vocals going on at the
This
same
shit's
time.
wild.
One's like a little lower. It just gives it a cool effect. But you could do that, or just grab the vocal in general, the main one, and just like saturate it, process it a little bit more, and make it a little bit louder in the drop. And then just do this whole what I just said. Just do this for the vocal on the drop. Don't do it for like in the beginning where you have it. I think it sounds fine in the beginning. This is just on the drop, when you have it overlaid over your basses. But yeah, my score is gonna be 4.8. I really like it a lot. Yeah, it's honestly a really sick idea. I love the second part. That's where you got me.
Okay, I'm just gonna correct what you said, Praxis. This is Britum, okay?
There you go.
Nah, this shit's fucking fire. I really don't have much feedback. I think the basses sound great. I can't tell. They might be a little too wide. They might not. They might be just perfect. Honestly, the bass sounds massive. I love the flow. It's very simple. Like Hades said, the second drop, the fake sustain. Not even fake. It's just like you just take it away. It works. Like the drums slap. Everything just slaps. It's in your face, but it's mixed extremely well. I'd be curious to hear what the lufts are on this bad boy. Yeah, I don't know. This just works really well for me. I loved everything about it. Sound design was really crunchy. It was really good, and the simple flow worked for this. So I'm gonna give this, as far as it goes, I think this is a 5. I think this is pretty much there. The drop is definitely there for me. As far as the reverb goes, that Praxis said, I don't hear it as much, but I could tell there's a little bit on them, but I think it works. But that's totally subjective as well, because I like also doing like small reverb and layers and all that stuff on my basses. So maybe it's just really connecting to me and my style. So fire track. I'd love to have this once you give me once you're done with the final as well.
Hell yeah.
The score is
What
out of
was your
5,
score?
Quacks. What do you say?
Did you give a score?
I get 5.
5? Sick. All right. Next, we got Lay's Strike Heresies Flip. Heresies Flip.
Heresies?
Let's go.
Dude, the artwork's sick. Is that the normal artwork for this? It might end up showing up as unavailable. I'm sure he's reading chat, so we'll probably see this. But if not, I'll tell him about it in between. And he's already on top of it. I've heard of Lay's. Yeah, Lay's fucked. Yeah.
I actually haven't heard this song, so I don't know if it's like.
I have.
I haven't heard this. Oh, it's such good. It's on register.
I got immediate feedback.
No.
Yeah, I haven't heard the actual track, so like I don't know. That's my bad, bro.
Yeah.
My bad for not listening to like.
I mean, I haven't heard it either. How close is that to the original?
Yeah, I was gonna
Very,
ask.
very close,
Okay.
but not in a bad way. I mean, so when it comes to doing flips, people do one of two things. They either do a lot with the intro as well as the build and stuff, or they don't do much at all. In this case, he didn't do very much at all, which is okay because his drop was actually extremely clean in a sense. It matched the same energy as the original track. Does it sound similar? Yes and no. Like his flow and like the execution is very similar. So that's a good thing.
We'll
What
definitely
he
give you
did
advice.
and the drop and stuff sounds very good.
Oja, is that pronounce
In
it?
my opinion, especially compared to the original track, it's pretty on par. My only thing is that I have a gripe with is at the very end of that second drop.
Exactly.
I really like the second drop flow a lot.
Yeah.
It's just at the very end, I feel like you kind of ran out of ideas because you just did this like pitch bend with your sustain, which isn't a bad thing.
That's
I
good,
just
dude.
feel like you might want to kind of check that and just kind of like smoothen it up, or kind of just do like find out different like pitches that you're gonna throw it in and stuff like that. Just because it sounded a little like it just sounded like kind of like you ran out of idea,
Very
or
true,
like
Clark.
you just kind of did that
We
just
all
because
are.
it was the end or something. When you can just continue to have that sustain going, and then just maybe just do like a washout at the end, just to keep it simple, and still keep the energy flowing, so you don't kind of throw off the listener, or just something different. But other than that, everything in your drop, your chugs, the mix down, like the way the sub was flowing with the sustain, in my opinion, when it came to a heavy sustain track that's very similar to Lays, because you are flipping Lays, this is very good. I'm gonna give this one overall a 4.5.
All right. So that intro, that do was that original?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say that sounded really cool. Which I just haven't heard this track. So a couple things. First of all, Bro Step W, loved it. You right after the pre-drop vocal, something strike, and then you go into like a fake out ish type of vibe. You like there's something that hits. I don't know if it's the kick or not, but it's not the kick used in the drop, and you should have your kick that you're using in the drop like hit there, because it sounds like very unimpactful. Am I familiar? Either have nothing, like no sign of a kick, or just have the kick with a normal side chain, because it just kind of sounded confusing there. As someone that loves fake outs, that's what I would recommend. Also, there seems like be like a ton of noise in your basses, like in the 10K, which isn't a big deal. However, like your rides aren't really coming through at all. There's not that to really go with the chug, the quarter note dubstep, you know? So what you can do is you can round off your bass group at like 10K. Or if you really want to keep it, just cut it out. Because really that's all your cymbals are really going to do is kind of punch in there. And that's where you're going to hear the high end.
And this works. I can assure you that works, because that was one issue I had, and he literally told me to do that. Remember that one time he told me like to just put that EQ and then like
Yeah.
cut off around that range, and bro, your cymbals will pop out. I'm not even kidding. Like you'll notice the difference.
And it doesn't take away anything from your basses either. You won't know it, but all of a sudden your cymbals come through. It's phenomenal. Next, I think your kick and snare need to come up. I think the side chain's okay, but I could feel pulsing, but I think it's because your kick and snare didn't seem as loud as your basses. So I think it just needs to come up, clip them at 0, let them be loud, let them be as loud as your bass, and really let that side chain cut for them. Let them really punch. That's super important on these types of tracks. You gotta have that smacking drums. It doesn't have to be distorted, but they just need to be smacking. Which goes to my next question. If you're using a limiter on your kicks, I can't really tell from the waveform, but sometimes if you're using a limiter on something that's really loud, it will kind of duck it if the attack's too soon. If you are using that, F that noise, just go with like a clipper, G-clip, saturator, digital clip it, whatever you want to do. Other than that, go ahead.
I was about to say, normally what I do in that sense is you can use drum parallel. It's kind of like a glue. It's like kind of like glue compression for the drum. You can use that, and you kind of boost it a little bit, just pulling everything up in the mix, and then you can clip it or stuff like that too.
I'm mid on that, but it does work. Overall, flow really good. Like he said, the sustain, the follow, the sub worked really well. So, yeah, that's all I really have. I think it's if you get those mix things right, I think you're pretty much there. So I'll give it like a 4.6. There should be a link in chat.
Boy, you have improved, man. Honestly, I'm proud of you.
Sorry, Payne,
I'm so sorry. Is it Hershey's or
Payne.
Hershey's? I'm sorry if I got it wrong. But you've improved so much, man. I'm so proud of you. This is a really sick idea. Wasted covered pretty much most of what I was gonna say. It was mostly focused on the drums because, that clap could work out, but me personally, subjective, I'm not a fan of the alien part claps. So, and then again with this type of style
Do you know
of
that
heavy
clap?
dubstep. Huh?
Do you know
I
that
think it's
clap?
alien part
Oh
clap.
my god, you
Yeah, I think so,
nerd.
yeah. I'm pretty sure. At least I would think it would be known.
Bro.
But anyways, yeah. So yeah, I would like they were saying, bro. Like have heavy drums for this type of stuff. Like I'm not saying it's wrong for you to have like a clap like that. It just hits so much harder if you have heavier drums. Like because you have a lot of what Wasted said. I was gonna say the same thing. There's a lot of like high end going on. So like, which it's not a problem, but again, things aren't punching through, like your cymbals aren't punching through and stuff. So yeah, like tame the high end on your basses, give some space for your cymbals. In my opinion, change the clap.
I think the clap's
Kick was
fine in
fine.
my subjective opinion. I just think it's too quiet, so it feels very unimpactful.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another thing too. You can keep the clap. It was super subjective. You can keep the clap, but definitely 100% turn things up. With the drums, like Praxis said, drum parallel is super good. What I do is, there's a preset in Glue Compressor called drum parallel. If you put that one on,
It's called full parallel. Is that what you're thinking of?
full parallel. Yeah, full parallel. Sorry, yeah. I think it says drum and then full parallel.
Yep.
So if you select that one and you mess around, you have to know a little bit of how to use a compressor to use these things. If you have
Correct
no idea how to
my
use a compressor,
topic,
just
brother,
boost things up
evolution.
using like volume and saturator. But if you do know how to use a compressor, like choose that preset on Glue Compressor. It's called
I'm
full
not sure what
parallel.
you're trying to say.
And then once you add that
React to what?
saturator and boost it up 2 dB because that will give it an extra push to everything.
Curve parallel.
And then make sure
new preset pack
don't
about to
clip.
drop.
I mean, clipping, like Wasted said, you can clip your drums, but I don't clip them. I just I push it. So it's basically up to you.
You can you can push them. It's just you're clipping them eventually. I'd rather just do it in my drum group.
Personally, I which is perfect. Like I would recommend, putting that clipper at the end, but I just don't do it. I don't know. It's just the way I produce, but I would recommend putting the clipper and pushing your drums. I think that's what this needs. But the flow was sick. The arrangement was good. I think it was just the drums and all that. Wait, what are you saying, bro? No,
Hades, you frozen, by the way.
All right, my bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to take a lot of time on that.
No, you're good.
I'm gonna give this 4.5. Bro, good shit. You have improved so much, so just keep pushing.
Okay, sounds good. Voidum, you said what now? You said you had a 40-second one that you wanted. Here, I don't know where it's at though.
Girth
put it right
parallel, Peru. Oh, is that one good? Oh wait, I thought that was a joke. Is that actually another preset, bro?
It's
I'm over here
not a
making a
it's
joke.
not a preset.
Oh, okay. He's just trolling.
All right, cool.
Plus 30
motivate me
dB.
to finish this. This is what Voidum says. Motivate me to finish this.
He's one of the homies in here, right?
Yeah.
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 All right, Voidum. Let's see if my expectations are freaking.
Ready? All right. That was cool.
God damn.
Yeah,
I
super
can go
sick.
first.
That was pretty fire. Good sound design.
All
Good sound
right.
design.
What are you doing? No, but yeah, this is super sick. I think the idea is really sick. I actually really love the
Yeah,
build up. Like the
that clap
tension on
needs to be
that build
layered
up
more.
is super sick.
It's getting pushed back with how
I actually like it a lot.
is.
15K, dude. I actually like it a lot. The build up, and then following that, the drop. The drop is super sick. You know, it has your style, of course. The clap, I think, could use a little bit more body. I think there's a lot of like it's like slapping you in the face basically, but I think it could use a little bit more body. There's something called, I know you know about this, like snare enhancers or like clap enhancers. If you put those on, it just gives it more body. So try those. Sorry, the chat, bro. It's just the chat. Just use those, and then it could make your clap feel more. You guys are throwing me off, dude. I'm gonna close the chat. It could make your clap feel like it has more body in it.
What's going on in the chat?
Do that, and then I think that rhythm bass that you tease on the first like 2 bars of the drop, it goes like I don't know, something like that.
Nah, yeah.
I need you to put that on the overall drop, bro. Like you're teasing it, and then boost the fuck out of it on the overall drop, so it can give it the rhythm feel. Cause I think you're like teasing the rhythm, but then you're dropping it really heavy. But it'd be really sick if you drop it heavy with that rhythm bass overlapped. But just boost it like serum effects. You know, I know you can use serum effects on that, and you can boost it like. There's this thing you can do with the compressor and serum effects. I don't need to explain it. I know you know how to do it. So, just boost that rhythm bass a lot, and then put it over your whole drop. It could give it a cool effect. Overall, I would give this a 4.8. Super sick. Yeah.
Okay.
Good shit, bro.
I don't have too much. It sounded like something was distorting as soon as your build started, like maybe the kick and the impact or something, or just everything layered. It sounded like there was just a little bit of like clipping and distortion that didn't seem intended. So I would check that. Layer your clap, or bring it up. Yeah, I think it just needs to be more up front. It doesn't have to have a sub per se. Like you can still keep it like that style clap. It just needs more body or something to push it up front. And then subjectively, the last 4 bars of your drop, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought your first 4 bar, your B section, your second A section was really good. It just didn't seem as good as the rest to me, personally. Other than that, like, basses were cool. That kind of rhythmish bass sounded kind of like a frog, so that was cool. But like in a good way. Like the sounds are really cool. I really enjoyed the sounds. The fills were badass, really unique, good flow, all worked out. So I liked everything else. So I'd give it like a 4.8.
Sick. Kind of just piggybacking off what he said, definitely wants you to boost that square 4 sound in the mix, bro. Like square 4 is just it. I feel like square 4 is like a very, like if you can get that shit down, especially in a dubstep track rather than just a rhythm track, or even go like aggressive square 4 like you see like Samplifier do, and even like Azabim does every so often, and like Infecting them. Kind of like that trenchy, like really aggressive square 4, like that shit's sick. And like I kind of see like you're trying to do that here. So definitely boost the square 4 sound up in the mix a lot. I think that's really gonna help with just the overall flow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everyone agrees on the clap as well, just using something a little more aggressive, more body, or just kind of just something that like fills in that space more, just to keep the energy flowing. But other than that, super sick idea. Definitely finish it. I'm gonna give this one a 4.8 as well.
Jason, you're crazy for sending that, bro. Sorry.
Up next, we got Saiju Leech V4. Really like the logo, by the way.
Discord will never open on my fucking laptop, I swear.
Hey, yo.
This is sick.
Oh, that bass.
Whoa.
Bro, who? Okay, I need to see who this is.
Saiju, that shit was crazy.
52
like that.
followers, bro.
Yeah,
For you to make that
guess.
waveform and for it to be fucking clean, that is crazy.
Yeah, that shit's crazy sounding.
Bro, props to you, man. Or she. He or she.
How do you get the sub bass to line
I
up?
think it's super sick. I do feel like the sustaining part kind of gets a little dragged out personally. But other than that, like everything else was super cool.
I mean,
the
you
sound
could either be in the pad.
yeah, like everything
just
everything
layer
was
it.
super sick.
You can print your sub.
But
to
that's pretty much
audio.
it for me. Just like the sustain
And then
itself wasn't my personal
You can
favorite.
Fade it.
It
make
fit the
it
mix
fit.
though. So it's just a
There's
subjective
many different ways depending on what
thing.
DAW you're on.
But other than that, everything was super sick. Flows were dope, and honestly, it sounded really nice. Like, I just want to see it finished up for sure. But really impressive, especially with having that amount of followers. I'm gonna give this one a 4.6.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite tracks of the night, to be honest. Because it's one of my favorite ones because everything to me sounded mixed well, because the fact that like literally Discord fucks up the low end a lot, but the fact that your sub still sounded clean even with like the with Discord like messing up the low end always, it still sounded clean, and that means like things are mixed like really good.
Yeah. So once you have your MIDI of your sub,
honestly,
you can
bro,
just drag it
I'm gonna give this a 5.
down to your audio.
Yeah,
reproduce
I'm gonna give it a
audio,
5.
and then mute your
It
MIDI.
just to me
and
everything
work from it from
sounded
there.
cohesive, and there was a lot. The reason why it's a 5 is because there was literally a lot of variation. Like there was different sections. There wasn't a lot of repetitiveness. So that's really creative of you to do that, because it's really hard to come up with multiple ideas that are so cohesive together, and that's literally what you did right now. So it's really difficult to do that. So props to you. And then besides that, everything being mixed well, drums being on point, like snare selection being good. And I'm not glazing right now. It's literally just me giving props to like good work. So this is a 5.
You're bouncing on it.
Yeah.
Could you feel
Bro,
this one
that's
coming on your
crazy.
face? Whatever you said earlier.
Oh shit! That's gonna harm me.
Nah.
I knew that was gonna harm me.
This is fire.
5.
This is fire. I think it's really rare that like a boomy snare like that works, and it worked really well for this. I think the bass really good. That like the triplet like kind of machine gun zappiest thing that you had like on the offbeats was really cool on the downbeat. Sound design is really cool. That switch up at the 8 bar where you go sustains is phenomenal. I have 2 things for feedback. One, I couldn't really hear your rides. I think we're having the same noise issue, or they're just not really prevalent. I couldn't tell if they're hidden, or I just couldn't really hear them that well personally. So I would like a little bit more out of that. And then another subjective thing would be to, instead of making this a 32 bar drop, make it a 16 bar drop, put that 8 bar build in between, and then that second drop's good to go. Just put an 8 bar in between. It just makes it more DJable for like, say someone that just wants to play the first or second drop. That way they don't have to do a crazy transition or edit with an impact out one of your tracks, because this is a fire track. It'll get played. So I think you should think about how to make it a little more DJable for like all the bass music producers, and that's traditionally in a 16 bar drop. It doesn't always have to be, like I said, this is totally subjective, but I think it will help with getting some more plays passed around if you do that. Overall, phenomenal mix for how loud it is and how hard you're pushing it. Sub bass is fire. I would give this, honestly, pretty much like a 4.9.
Thick.
Having sub bass in the
Alright,
patch
next
would
we
be
got
but I
the
can start
Saucy
printing it
Main
and
Stage
snapping into the
Music
bass.
collab by
Exactly.
Two-Face.
So say you print your
Okay.
bass from your patch, right? And then you have a totally separate sub. You will then print your sub bass, or just have it in MIDI. You have 2 sub
And again, we're
MIDIs, your
trying to
bass
get
and
to
sub bass,
everyone,
but
so apologies if we don't get to it.
you
this
just
week.
shape them together. Good, long time no talk. Kaimo, how you doing, man? We're just vibing tonight. getting some feedback. Some people are submitting some fire stuff. Really good stuff.
I fucking love this type of shit.
Someone goes fuck off. On that second drop.
This part's cool.
That is fire.
What a breakdown that was.
Yo. Fuck, dude, that shit. I just gave a 5, bro. Fuck. Dude, these producers are fucking. They're good, bro.
I know, he's only got like 30 followers too.
Bro, could you play that? Could you play that last drop? I'm sorry, I don't mean to take a lot of time, but could you just play that last drop again, like before it drops, like the little melodic part? Yeah, like a little bit forward, a little bit more forward, a little bit more forward. Yeah, right there. Dude. Dude, I fucking love that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
cool.
that shit live, bro. Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, this shit will go nuts live.
So
What's
this
up,
is
dude?
a perfect
Let's
example
call it out.
of pushing your drums and, you know, making them, putting them out there. Perfect example, bro. The clap, as you can tell, is like smacking you in the face. And it's also, I think it's
Clap is
stereo. I
smacking
think
your grandmother too.
yeah, you could do like from a mile away, bro. You could literally hear that. Bro, it sounds like Dude, it sounds to me. It sounds like it's stereo. Also, it's those little stereo going on, so it's super sick. Yeah, drums are mixed very good. Idea is super sick. I think the Reese you had in the intro was a little octave higher. Was 1 octave higher. I think I might be wrong, but it sounded like it was 2 higher. So just select all your MIDI notes. If you are writing MIDI in that Reese, select all your MIDI notes. Put it down an octave. If that doesn't work, then just leave it where you had it. Maybe it's just Discord, but yeah, try that out. If it is a loop, then it's kind of trickier because then you have to mess with the pitch and it won't sound like more. It won't sound more natural. So maybe if it's a loop that you're using, maybe try writing it in your own MIDI so you can mess around with it more. But yeah, that's something easy to fix. I'm gonna give this a 4.8 just because, bro, that last part, I'm a big fan of that. I was just very melodic, very like spacious. And then it just goes into like the cowbell again. Yeah, 4.8. There's definitely a lot of cowbell in this one.
I don't know. I think this is really, really well mixed. It sounds really good. The flow, the basses, like everything checks the boxes. The drums work really well, even though they're extremely loud and clipped. They work. They're not overly distorted or anything. The melodic part was very, very cool. It was very good. And I like that there wasn't really a build to the last drop. Just really light risers and down risers there at the end. I really don't have feedback on this. I think it's there, honestly. I think this is good to go. And yeah, you should run it. I'll give it a 5. Good job, Two-Face.
Yep, I'm about to say the same shit. Future rhythm, love it. I like the stompy kind of like. It reminds me of like the old days of Halcyon, before it just Just reminds me of some Halcyon. I love Halcyon. I mean, I'm from Vegas. Halcyon's a Vegas record label.
Yo,
Like when I
guys,
first
Wise
got
giving
into
feedback.
dubstep and
I
stuff
gotta
like
use the
that, I was
restroom
a
real quick.
huge
It's only
Future
gonna take
Rhythm
me a
nut.
second.
Like Autumn Hate, Ominous, Akios, all those guys were like banging my headset like left and right. That's what I was DJing. So listening to Future Rhythm and now is very refreshing. This is a 5. Good shit. Good shit. Oh, did not mean to open up my files. Close.
We can't change scores, huh? That wouldn't be fair.
I mean, not technically.
Yeah. That shit
IDV
was
won by
fire.
Che.
It's
Yeah, it
fire.
was fire. Yeah, personally, I just loved the melody and how heavy it was.
See the universe through my eyes. Race of the shadows.
Oh.
Sick.
Yeah, it had a nice flow to it. I feel like your drop came suddenly. I feel like you can use a little more work on your intro build. Maybe teasing some drop elements in your build there. Just adding some more suspense and energy. Also check your sidechain. It might not be aggressive enough. You might need to push your drums through the mix a little bit more. You can check your sidechain, or if your sidechain's fine, just figure out a way to push your drums through the mix. I wasn't a huge fan of the snare. You might be able to layer it with something. Like it wasn't bad. It was cohesive, but like I feel like it could just be brought up a little bit more. But other than that, it was really cool. It had a nice flow and a nice bounce to it. I'm gonna give this one a 4.3.
Yeah, this is a sick rhythm idea. I think for my feedback is yes, I agree with the drop coming in all of a sudden. Build tension, tease things, just cohesiveness. But it was mostly for me, it was like your main bases. I unnecessarily couldn't really hear how the sub was punching through. I think it was it good in practices? Yeah, it was well because I know you have like full.
Okay.
I know you have full quality of it. I don't have full quality. That's why.
Yeah, the sub
Yeah,
sounded like okay. It wasn't. I felt like it could have been a little more boomy,
right.
like thicker, if you will. But other than that, it sounded okay.
Okay, so then that goes back to the point what I was gonna say. I just want to make sure because I think what I was gonna say is your basses just sound like your basses, not your sub. Your basses sound drowned out, like your rhythm basses. So either layering them, or I think layering the layer that you have right now, because I feel like if you boost the layer that you have right now, it's still not going to be enough. I think you need one more crunchier layer.
Can I chime in real quick with that comment?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing about the basses in general, like the drop basses, once again, not the sub, but the mids, it just seems really mid-heavy. Like, it seems like from 300 to, like, 1.5K. If you boost that, how it, like, pulls out your highs a lot. It seems like, because your cymbals, they're kind of quiet, but they were punching through just fine. Like, the cymbals were not that loud, and they were coming through super crisp, which tells me that you really don't have a lot of like high mids from your bases. So I think processing, adding that, layering something that can really help with that is going to make that drop sound so much fuller, give it that shimmer, and really help. So yeah, sorry, I was just kind of piggyback off what you're saying, but you can keep
No, you're
going.
good. No, yeah, perfectly agree with what he said. I mean, like, it's more like actually, I was gonna
That's good,
add
that's
on
right.
to the symbol part. I felt like the symbol you had is completely fine, but I think maybe do something in the high end for your symbols. 'Cause I think there's not much going on in the high end for your symbols. Because you really want. I mean, not all the time. It's preference, self preference, or it's kind of like the style that you're making. But I think, in my opinion, again, subjective. What I would do is I would add a little bit more high end to your symbols. So maybe add one more symbol that's a little bit more focused on the high end. So that's one thing. And then what I was gonna say is, yeah, just like what we were saying, the bases, just layering them. I think layering your bases is gonna help you a lot. Because I don't think you should push things now. Because right now it sounds like you don't have a main layer that you could push. So try to find that main layer stuff. And then once everything sounds more cohesive, then like start pushing things individually, mixing things individually and stuff like that. So I'm gonna give this a 4.0. Yeah, pretty sick idea. Just little adjustments.
Is that our submission still? Oh my
Yeah,
god!
bro.
Oh my god!
crazy,
Y'all are
bro.
fucking
Bro.
crazy.
Like,
That's
dude,
so many.
watch. So we have these that we still have, like, technically in the queue that I originally pulled,
Holy shit,
and then we still
yeah.
have
dude! These are all homies too.
Sorry.
that many that people submitted.
Okay. Hold up. Thought, because there's no way we're getting all these, right?
No, yeah,
No,
we're
we
just-
always run them next week.
I was gonna say, should we do a part 2 to finish out this queue?
Yeah,
At some point, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will. Yeah. Most likely.
But okay, all right. Yeah, I mean that was really everyone kind of touched on what I was thinking. Besides, the highs, I just needs to be more highs on those bases for him. And the bases sounded good. The one ARP thing that was in there doing no, that was really mid heavy as well. So maybe just once again do the same as like your other bases, and just EQ EQ it a little more with your main bass when they're both going at the same time. Make them a little more cohesive together during that. Other than that, really good. I would give it like a 4.0.
sick. All right, cool. All right, so hold on one second. We got the feedback chat that we're talking in real quick. Hold on.
Just trying to figure out time, guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
I think
we did start a little late. So
I
we're
think
just
I can
trying
do
to see
10.
what-
I think I can do 10-15.
10-15. All right,
I think
cool.
that's enough, right, to get these last ones in.
Okay, perfect.
All right, yeah, we're gonna bang these out. Everyone, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna do a part 2 to the stream, so stay tuned. We'll let you guys know, but we're gonna try and bang out these last ones we have set in the queue for you guys going until about 10-15. So up
Okay.
next we got Plague, Invocatio, and oh wow, this is some freaking Latin. Invocatio Infernal Sanctum by Plague.
Why the cover art look like me after 6 shots in? Yeah, mine is def for next week for sure. Vilm, I'm gonna see if we can maybe do something this week. I have to travel to Canada for work, but I'll have my MacBook, so maybe we can still set something up. I would like to get through this before the next stream if we can find a time between all of us. Because I think this has been really helpful for everyone, and hopefully you guys have been enjoying watching this as well. So I just didn't realize we had that many submissions. Y'all kind of crazy with it. Which is awesome. Plague, are you in chat? Ooh.
This is so simple but so sick.
Tark.
Dude.
Depending if you're on the list
Dude,
up
what
top
the
here,
fuck
we'll
fucking
probably get to it in the
crunchiness,
next session. But yes, this will be
Yo,
uploaded to the
You
channel.
have
Whoa.
you
That-
have something going on here.
That echo boom clap halfway through the drop was fucking sick.
It's just bro, like
yeah.
yeah, go ahead. You can go first.
No, I really don't have. I think that clap is super unique and it works really well. I think honestly,
Yeah, I was about to say that.
yeah, this is fucking fire. It's unique. It's loud. One thing I can't really tell completely. Obviously, the sub is loud and noisy. Is the sub acting as like his mids as well in that tonal thing? Like, is it in a good position, or do you think it should come up? Because like I can't tell if it's subjective, and because it sounds cool, but does it need to be louder?
Can you say it
Dude,
one more
he's-
time? It cut off. For me.
So the way he has it is he has like this white noise layer going over it. So I don't know if he's using like a white noise layer or like erosion with it, but I mean
Oh,
the sub is hitting pretty nicely. Like that's a sub heavy track, and it's got like
Might
this
be higher, might-
like I don't know. It's just got a nice
Ooh,
Flow
nice
is nice.
flow. Like in
Wait,
field.
what happened?
Yeah, that was fire.
It reminded me kind of like how Sam Lamar produces, you know, like really really unique flows, you know what I mean, and like really crunchiness, like
It
panning
was
shit, stereo.
crunchy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
like
liked
you
it.
reminded me of that. So
I kind of want to throw this down in a set just randomly.
Yeah, this would
And
be
it's
be
clipped.
so
It's-
cool.
it's clipped
There's
very
you.
good, as I can see. Very, very good.
This is a 5 for me. I love this. Yeah,
Yeah,
for me.
it's-
Yeah, I'd give it a 5 as well. I think it's very unique. I like it a lot. It's very simple. Yeah, it's groovy. It's fun. It's fun.
It's very simple, like you said. Like, look at the structure of it. Like, you have the same shape, and it's just like, it's just very simple. But it's so like, yeah, I give it a 5. I wouldn't change anything. The sound selection is fire. I love how you selected a very dry clap, and it fits very well. Like, it's everything fits well. So, 5. Props to you, Brand. And then, I mean, this is like just some extra shit, but like the red, and like the Inferno name,
Branding.
and like everything. Yeah, like the branding in general. Yeah. Not the Inferno name, the track name. What I mean, it fits like the whole vibe of the track.
Yeah, super sick.
So, like,
Up next, we got Quacks Slam Bang. Look at the fucking thick
dude,
boy.
these waveforms, bro. Holy-
Wax is in the chat, baby. Let's go. Quacks, how long have you been producing for?
All right. How far, and do you want to keep listening?
Just run the second drop real quick.
All right.
I hear some company focus back there. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll start out. I think the idea is really cool. It's very vibey. It's like old dubstep back in the day with more modern touch. So it just kind of how the vocals, just how it runs, just the feel of the track in general, kind of gives me a little bit of nostalgia, which is really cool. I think your biggest issue as far as feedback goes is the sidechain. I think I don't know if you do have sidechain or if it's just not right, but your drums could punch a lot more, which is going to help a lot. Because your drums aren't bad, it's just they're getting pushed back. So depending if you're not sidechaining, make sure you sidechain. If you're not sure how your sidechain's fitting, I have videos on that on YouTube, self-plug, but like it's just a really simple way of just like making a clean sidechain to make your drums really punch through. The rides and all that's very good. I think the sound design or the flow of the drop's pretty cool. I actually like it. I don't think the sounds are insanely unique, but once again, I think this kind of ties together the cohesion of why it feels like nostalgic, but it doesn't feel like outdated VR pack to me, which I like. So I'm not saying anything bad about the actual bass itself. So I think sidechain's the biggest issue there, and then maybe make your intro a little bit quieter. You can do that before your last. If you're using any compression on your master, you can put it at the beginning of your chain and just maybe like gain it down a dB or two. It'll add more dynamics and shouldn't affect with your waveform if you have any type of like multi-band compression or something like that on your master. So that's all I got. I think it's really cool vibe though.
Thick.
I'd rate it. Yeah, I need to rate it. Idea, I think, is like a 4.75. I think where you're at right now is like a 4.25.
Cool. I kind of agree with what he's saying with the sidechain, with your drums kind of getting pushed down in the mix. Also, I would check your EQing, just making sure nothing's like kind of fighting each other frequency wise. And then also overall, just check your compression. It sounds like some of the sounds can be a little more clear. It just sounds like they're kind of being pushed down. And then, building the tension in the intro, I agree with what Wace is saying. Like your overall volume in the intro should be dropped just slightly, and then you kind of build up into the drop and stuff. So it gives you more of an impact when it hits, because you have a lot of energy and you have a lot of elements going on in the intro, which a lot of dubstep nowadays producers struggle with. But
100%,
you have so
he's
much
right.
going on that when the drop hits, it's kind of taken away from that energy. So find a way to kind of help balance that out so that way your drop hits more like with a bang. But other than that, super sick. It does give me a nostalgic feel. It reminds me of some like I don't know, like 2015, 2016, like dubstep vibes, like super sick. I'd give this one like a 4.3.
Yeah, if you have any questions about any of that stuff, Quacks,
Yeah,
feel free to ask. Or
my opinion, the idea is there. Definitely, turn down the intro. And then 100% agree on the whole leveling the energy thing that Praxis was going over. It does take away from the drop, so yeah, you definitely want to build tension instead of having like tension, all the way across. So I think for the drop, there's a bunch of in my opinion, there's a bunch of stuff going on, and that's totally fine because you can always make things work, but I think you just need to like go individually and take a look at each individual bass and make sure that nothing is bleeding into each other, because that's what it sounds to me. It sounds like a lot of stuff is bleeding. Sounds like there's like two low ends going on, so it's just like
the low
EQing
mids.
stuff.
Okay, yeah. True.
Cutting stuff off, making sure there's only one low end going on.
What do you
type thing, you know
what are you
So, like, one
sidechaining
sub,
with?
not multiple things. If you have layers, make sure that the layers are getting cut. Make sure that there's no low end getting
Duck.
getting
that's pretty
bled
good.
through. So do that.
Yeah,
check out your bases.
Yeah, make sure it's
Mix everything, level
everything
stuff out, EQ
in
stuff.
your bass group. not
And
just
then
your
this could be a
sub-bass.
really solid idea. I didn't really have much for the drums. It was like I
Yeah,
think the
I
drums
I've
weren't
used it. It's
punching through
free,
because
right?
again your sidechain. Again, that's another thing I was gonna go over your sidechain. Make sure your sidechain is thicker. It's punching through. You're getting that pumping effect. If you're not getting that pumping effect, then it's gonna sound your drop's gonna sound off. And it's a big factor in dubstep or like in any genre. Like sidechain is a really big factor because it just changes like the drop completely. But
sorry,
that's,
Morbid, I
that's
just saw that.
something you can easily change.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
too
give this
late.
a
It's gonna be
3.5
put
just because
to,
I think it needs a little.
It's gonna be
work on
put
the
to the
drop.
part 2 of the stream. We're gonna
But
do
yeah,
part
the
2
idea's there. I
sometime
love the idea.
within the next
100%.
week, I think. So we'll get to it. It just won't be tonight.
All right, let's go ahead and
Because
move
the
on to
queue
the
is
next
insanely
one.
long.
Up next, we got Winter. Solo Dark Side. It's a winter remix.
I
This
see,
one's a
yeah.
free
I'm
download if
gates,
anyone
I
likes
think
it and would like to play it out.
Do
That's
full, like the volume should completely cut out on the on all your basses. You can check a couple tutorials if you type like wasted sidechain. It should be somewhere on there, but there's lots of ways you can do it. I think I even did one on Duck, honestly, if you go back in time. But yeah. Also cut out any low mids, like anything below or any on your synths. Like if your sub's going to 150, cut all that stuff out. Yo, congrats, Morbid. Where are you playing?
Holy fuck. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
From VRB. Hey, I know. Oh, right.
Okay, that's fucking crazy.
That's fire. Bouncy.
Yo. Okay, I got some
yeah,
stuff for
go
this.
ahead.
First of all, really sick sound design. The 8-bar switch when you go to like the switch of the snare and all that. Fire. You switch the motif around. It works really well. As far as feedback goes, I have very little, but these basses are really harsh. There's a lot of high end from what it seems. Discord I don't think plays it perfectly, but am I right, Praxis? Is it really bright?
Yeah, it's very bright.
Yeah.
There is a good sub presence. Don't get me wrong.
No, the
but
sub
the
sound-
high end is.
Yeah, it's just really like harsh to the ear. So what I would do is either like the best thing you do is go through EQ. You can round off a little bit, like we talked about earlier. Like anything above 10K, you really don't need. And then you can even do like a little bit of like compression on the group, like downward compression at like 3.5 hertz and above, just a little bit. Or dynamic EQ, or not dynamic, but like Pro MB. There's many different ways. Just control the high end because it is extremely harsh, but it sounds really cool. That's really I have. I'll give this like a 4.8. I don't really like rhythm, but I fuck with this. This is really good. So
I totally agree with what Wasted's saying. A good way to kind of combat that, because I do have a lot of high end in my tracks that I kind of have to like round out. Depending on the high end sound, you can use a little bit of like reduced ambience and then also a soothe if you have soothe, but not everyone can afford soothe. So dynamic EQing, like he is saying, is another good way to go about it. But other than that, super cool. I think it was super aggressive. It kind of blew my mind a little bit for a good while there. But again, like I do agree that some of the sounds are just a little too harsh.
Are you Winter, Morbid?
The song is already out. You already released the remix. So you can't really revisit it. But moving forward, if you have a track with a similar sound design, just making sure that you're watching that. So
okay.
The ears of someone playing it live or whatever it may be. But super sick. I'm gonna give this one a 4.7.
How we going, brother?
Yeah, to piggyback what they said, definitely it sounds bright. I agree. Not a bad idea. I love the idea. It's rhythm, it's super sick. I think the main rhythm base that you have, and I could be wrong. It's everything's subjective. Well, not everything. Some things are subjective, but don't do necessarily what I'm saying. This is just like I'm leaning off of like my style that I make. So like the rhythm base that you have is fine, but I think it's too bright.
Discord
for it to be a
pulled
rhythm
up.
base. You get
So
me?
sorry, next
So,
stream will
like,
be updated.
Maybe use it as a layer. Don't use it as
I
your
forgot
main
to update
base.
it
So like,
beforehand because we had so
if
many
you
technical
maybe try
difficulty
getting
issues,
like a more
so
square 4 layer that's more
But
crunchier instead of like more
I will
brighter.
post it probably in
And
the
then
comments
put
as well,
that
in
layer
case
on
anyone
top of the
wants
one
to
that
do
you
it
have right
submit
now,
for next week.
because it's
So
gonna give it more like
I
of a body
apologize.
feel, and it's gonna give it that
But
grittier
thank
layer.
you for bringing that up.
I hope that makes sense. So if you do that,
Oh,
it's
that's
just gonna make
subjective.
the
You
drop sound
produce
like
good stuff, man.
10 times better,
Don't
just
say that
because it's
about
gonna
yourself.
have that main rhythm layer pop out, and it's just gonna sound really sick with all the brightness around it that you have going on. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 4.5. It's a super sick idea. Just exactly like Praxis said, this is released. It's a super
Hey,
sick
have a
idea.
good
You
one,
know?
Quacks.
Um,
You too.
don't
Every day
think
work.
just because it's
Thanks for
released like,
submitting.
oh damn, you know, like it's not good. No, it's super sick. Just for future references or like for future productions, just definitely check those things out. It's just gonna improve your production overall. Yeah, but 4.5.
Okay.
I think I said that right. Did I say 1.5 first?
I heard
Maybe
you say
the score?
4.5 now.
Okay, yeah, it's 4.5.
Okay. So, question. All right, are we leaving off here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
10-15.
So,
Yeah.
I think what we're gonna do is you're gonna save the rest of what we have after this one, right? Plus the queue, and that's where we're gonna start on our next one. And as far as my chat goes, because I don't know if we're gonna get this figured out right now, but anyone that's watching, check on. I'll post on my YouTube as well. Like, just keep updated for the channel updates, and then on Instagram when we're doing our next stream. So I don't know if you guys want to try to do it before your next scheduled one, since it's gonna be part 2, or if we want to wait till next week. But we can kind of get that figured out so we can get us all 3 back in here, because everyone seems to be, as you can see from the chat Praxis, everyone seems to really like this type of feedback as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, we'll get this thing planned out. I think we should probably do it within like the next week or so, just so that way people aren't waiting too long for the feedback. We'll just
Yeah.
kind of like come together and find a time of day where kind of works best for all of us again. And then
I could probably do. I know we're talking right here, but I can probably do this weekend. I travel to Canada Thursday for work, but the weekend should be pretty chill.
cool. Yeah,
So-
I'm down with that.
So yeah, and then for yeah, I mean, thank you everyone watching. It's cool to be a little guest on here, getting to see everyone's banger tunes. And I think it was a great time. I can't wait to do it again.
Yep.
So thanks
Likewise.
for
Fun. You
thanks
guys
for having
are
fun.
Yeah, of
First,
course,
bro.
dude. Thank you,
You
for
guys
you
are
guys'
talented.
feedback.
Next week.
Well, let
Is
me go
it?
ahead and
Is next week Lost Lands?
So we do
think
have
so.
a top 3 score, technically speaking. So like, basically people who got very close to perfect scores or perfect scores. Plague, he has a perfect score of 5 across the board. We got Two Face with a 14.8, so he was only like 0.2 away from a perfect score, and then we have Rage with a 14.6, so he was 0.4 away from a perfect score. So super sick.
Do you do anything for the winner or anything?
So inside of Discord, what we started doing is we'll give them a what is it, a verified artist, or is it a not verified artist? It's
I think it's Damn, there's a name for it. Yes.
it's a tag that we haven't done in a while since like our streams. Like
Where is
it's
it?
been a while. Here, hold on. So what we do is we'll take someone and we give them pretty much a tag on
It's a
Discord.
featured artist.
Featured artist. Thank you
Featured
so much.
artists, and then,
We
like
get
a
featured
showcase.
artists. Yeah.
Little
And
showcase.
pretty much what we're ending up doing is we're in talks of stuff, but like when we do playlists, like Bass Central playlists, we'll add their music to the playlists, and like eventually, future shows, things like that. Whenever we get like tied down with that kind of stuff, there's a lot that's going to go into it. We're coming up on our year in November, if I'm not mistaken. So
Nice.
we got a lot in
November
the
5th.
works.
Cool. Well, I mean, here's what we'll do.
Yeah.
I'll also, since we have a part 2, whoever gets the highest rating, or if there's multiple perfect scores, because we're at a 15 right now, whoever gets the top positions, I'll give my sample pack away for free to them as well.
Oh shit, dude! Holy
There
crap!
you go, guys.
So,
Holy crap!
There you go. That's
Yeah.
fire.
yeah. So,
There you go, guys! Holy shit!
but yeah, just something. I mean, it's-
Appreciate that. You guys doing that for them.
Hey, it's always fun, dude. I love hearing all this new shit, so it's a good time. But yeah, we'll plan it behind the scenes. Like I said, stay updated on my channel or Instagram and all that. And I'm sure you guys will do the same with your following and all that stuff.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, thanks
Sounds
for having me,
great.
guys. I appreciate it. We'll do this again very
Thank you
soon.
guys for your
you
time.
guys soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for your time and have
Go
good night.
follow
a good night,
Hades
everyone.
and Praxis on Instagram, everyone. Praxis, if you want to plug it in
Hold on.
on
There we go.
on the chat, go ahead and feel free to. He's the one that started Base Central. He's the one that invited me out. I actually saw him at a
Yeah.
company show as well. I got to meet him in person. So small world, really cool. But yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in. It was good. I haven't done a live in a very, very long time. So Praxis, if you want to plug your Instagram in the chat, you're more than welcome to as well. So people can follow you or the Discord or however you want to do it. And I'll make sure to probably put it in the comments below. And yeah, so thank you guys. And if we didn't get to your track, I know I've said this a million times, we'll get to it next time. We're probably going to close submissions completely because that backlog looked already like a few hours worth of feedback. And as much as I love to do it, I can't spend it all day. So, all right. Well, that's all I got. I'm done rambling. Have a good night, everyone. Take care.
All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and everyone jump over to
All right,
the production
peace, guys.
channels.